What's up, everybody? Mr. Forrest back with another episode of Awkward Stories with Mr. Forrest.
Awkward Stories with Mr. Forrest!
Guys, this time in part 3, I'm going to talk about my trip to China. Years back, I went to China, and it was a great experience. Man, I tell you what, the food there is incredible, and the prices of the food, incredible. I just loved it there. I loved my time there, but I struggled with jet lag. Jet lag is when you cross over several time zones, and when you cross over several time zones, your body still thinks, because where I am, it's 5 o'clock p.m., it thinks it's 5 o'clock p.m., but on the other side of the world, it might be 5 o'clock a.m., and your body needs to adjust to that, so it feels weird. And I went over there, and it was so weird because it was like every night at dinner time, I would be so tired. I felt like I was falling asleep during dinner. I would eat dinner and then I'd go to the couch and I would just pass out. Like the family that we were staying with were like watching a movie and stuff, and I would never be awake through the movie. I would fall asleep. But then at like 2 a.m, I'd wake up and I'd be the only one in the living room. Everybody else would be in bed. And then I'd hit play on the movie and I'd watch the whole movie and I'd be up the rest of the night. It was really hard to get used to. And then coming back, it's even harder. When you come back, your body finally adjusts to it. And then you come back and then it just like whams you and you're tired all the time and you feel sick and whatever. It's called jet lag. So I was in China and I started, like, the plane ride over is incredibly long. Like, it takes so long. I can't remember, but it's like 12 or 16 or 18 hours total. Like, you land here and you have a layover and then you go, and we flew into this airport and had a layover and went to that airport and had a layover. And it's weird because the airport in Beijing, there's really nowhere to sit. There's nowhere to sit. So you just like walk the whole time, but you got to stay with your luggage. So like the guy I was with, one of us had to sit on the luggage while the other one took a walk, and then one person sit on the luggage while the other one took a walk. It was weird. But I was feeling sick on the way back. Now, the way there was great. We had these TVs. Every seat had its own private TV with hundreds of movies to watch. I was watching Looney Tunes. I was watching all kinds of fun stuff on the way over. But on the way back, there were 5 shows to watch the entire flight. So it's like, whatever it was, 18 hours with the same 5 shows. There were 5 channels on this old school thing where you'd push these silver buttons in and it would switch over to a new show. I'd watch that show and then I'd switch over, and I wasn't really interested in any of them. But the difficulty was, on the way back, the guy I was with had a whole aisle to himself. He was sprawled out, laying down on the whole aisle. I had a window seat with a woman sitting next to me, and she was sleeping like a baby, and I couldn't get out, not to go to the bathroom, not to walk around, nothing. I was stuck in there, and I was feeling sick. I had a fever. My tummy was upset. Everything was like, it felt torturous. Like, when's this going to be over? And I couldn't sleep, and it was super, super rough. And to make matters worse, every so often while I'm sitting there, the lady sitting next to me would cut the cheese. And she would cut the cheese loud. And she would cut the cheese smelly. And she would cut the cheese often. And she's sleeping away and she's tooting away while I'm feeling sick. And now, because of the smell, I'm feeling even more sick. And I'm frustrated because I can't sleep and the whole cabin stinks. And all I could do was write a poem. So I wrote this poem, and it's called The Queen of Flatulence. I purchased seat 16K. However, I was unaware I would be graced by the presence of the Queen of Flatulence. Her Royal Highness breaks wind as she pleases. She divides only the finest of cheeses. The captain has turned on the fastened seatbelt sign, mistaking royal relief for turbulence. Most people sitting in the convenience of an aisle seat would simply use the lavatory, but courtesy is below monarchs who toot their own horn. Should I kneel, sit, or stand? I'm torn. I should try to describe the aroma, but that's another story. Al Gore would have the Queen arrested for air pollution. When the oxygen masks drop down and rescue my nasal well-being from the crown, the parachute might be my only solution. God save the Queen. Guys, this has been another episode of Awkward Stories with Mr. Forrest.
Awkward Stories with Mr. Forrest.
Mr. Forrest out.